Welcome to the Autosportradio.com 2020 show. We are once again live from the Grad King Race Shops in Indianapolis at 8155 Crawfordsville Road. And I remind you, if and when things open up, you need to come down here. If you're a race car fan, you'll love this place. A lot of vintage cars. It is a working museum. So when you can, you need to stop by. Today's show is presented by Honda and Honda HPD at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the NTT IndyCar Series, SVRA, and of course, McGilvery's Pub and Eatery and Speedway. Do you ever have trouble with your computer? I seem to have been born with trouble with my computer, but we have the computer guy to help you out. It's a affordable computer doctor, and a doctor is Steve Freeze. You can give him a call, tell him your problem. If necessary, he makes house calls. His number is 317-328-0766. Everybody loves to go to the dentist, me in particular. But there is a solution to that, the Indy Dental Group. Indy 500 veteran Dr. Jack Miller and his wife, Dr. Liz Lewis, have a phenomenal practice, one of the highest rated in the state. So if you they have a problem, you need it repaired, they're the place to go. Give them a call, make an appointment. I guarantee you will love it. His people are spectacular. Number is 317-846-6125. And we've been talking about the upcoming Christmas things, the backpack and the fanny pack and the decoration for your tree, the ornament. They are now available on site. You can go to the Grant King Shops Facebook page and you'll see all about it. So check it out, Grant King Shops Facebook page, and you will find it. If you're looking for something for a fan in your family, I highly recommend going to the500shop.com. He's got everything. If you're looking for anything to do with IndyCar, he's got it. So go to the500shop.com, or you can call Michael Spangle, the owner. His cell number is 317-985-0214. And to my right is this car. It's for sale. It's a 78 Lightning Drake Offie, chassis number LHL4. It's one of 8 cars designed by Roman Slabinski and constructed by Don Edmonds out of Anaheim, California. It was built for Lindsey Hopkins, a noted car owner of the 500. It was driven in 78 by Larry Rice and was Rookie of the Year, and he also drove it in 79. It's got everything going. It's ready to run. It was checked out by Chief Mechanic Mike Devon, and the car is ready to go, and you've got a lot of information on it. It comes with 4 new tires. You know, got to wonder, why would somebody want to drive 230, 240 miles an hour in a race car? Well, there's a way to find out. Take a ride in a 2-seater with Indy Racing Experience. It's a spectacular ride, and everybody that gets out of it screaming and yelling, they love it. So go to IndyRacingExperience.com and find out an event that they're going to attend and sign up if it works for you. Now, of course, it'll be 2021. But when you get online in the promo box, put DK1, you get a 50% discount. Or you can call the office. Talk to Shonda, number 317-243-7171. If you are a fan of vintage racing and or Trans Am, the SVRA.com site is a place to go. You want to subscribe to the Speed Tour magazine, which is a top flight magazine, tells you all about what they do, where they go, who's doing what, and it tells you what places to go, restaurants you want to see, and while you're at it, click on the schedule tab and you'll see what their 21 schedule is like. It really is quite good. And they have started on CBS Sports starting the 13th of December. And for 3 weeks, they're having a review of the Trans Am Series events. If you get a chance, you got to check it out. They come on at 7 o'clock Eastern time. And if you're interested in owning a vintage car, or you have one that needs restoration, the Grand King Shops can help you. Give them a call. Tell them what you got or what you're looking for, and I'll help you. Number is 317-820-3595. Now, my guest today is a young man who has been, he's from Bogotá, Colombia. He didn't come here today just to do this by any means, but he's an accomplished race car driver. He's a veteran of the 500, and he started in karting at a very young age in Bogotá. Please welcome Mr. Sebastian Saavedra. Sebastian, thanks for joining me.
Don, as always, an honor, a pleasure to be with you. I mean, it's kind of odd not being by your side, but it's 2020, right? So we make it work. And again, thanks for the invite.
What got you started as a youngster? You started racing karts in Bogotá. What got you into racing? Was your dad a race driver, your mom, or somebody?
Not really, Don. Really, back in 96, 97 that I started racing in go-karts. There was not much going on. You know, my dad was a big engineer and he didn't have much time for sports. And I just loved sports in general. You know, soccer was huge for us, as it continues to be in my country. And an uncle of mine, for my 7th birthday, gave me a go-kart, a pink go-kart actually. And I just fell in love with it. I just fell in love with the speed and how individual it was. You put your helmet on and the whole world just disappears. And I just became obsessed on going to the racetrack, and I did, you know, the little course to get a little license as a 7-year-old kid. And that's where my story started, with a pink go-kart.
I'll leave that one alone. That's pretty interesting. I hadn't heard that. I will say this: you, if I'm not mistaken, you are the first driver to qualify for the 500 that was born in 1990. The first one in the 90s to qualify for the 500s. That's right. Am I right on that? I think I am.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, 2010. My first qualifying with Brian Hertz Autosport, and yeah, that was a rough qualifying, but at the same time, being the baby of the field was pretty intense.
What got you to leave Bogotá and come to America? When did you think this is a place to come? They got the ladder system for you, the Pro 2000 and everything working up to the IndyCars. What brought you here? What made you decide this is a place to be?
So first, I started racing go-karts all over the world. I went first to Venezuela, then I went down to Brazil. I lived in Brazil for a year and a half, just go-karting and doing their big championships. They're known as the best in the world at that. Then I got the opportunity to be a factory driver for one of the chassis of go-karts in Europe. And I lived in Europe for almost 4 years, just racing. First in go-karts, I won the World Championship in 2005. And that gave me a huge opportunity to start racing in Formula BMW, which I was back and forth from America, Asia, and Europe. Then I raced in Formula 3, and I was taking the ladder towards Formula 1. When I won in Formula 3, I had a big opportunity to jump DTM, GP2, or Indy Lights. And that was a huge kind of like big why effect of where do we do it. My father was always my manager, and we sat down and we saw our pros and cons, and we received a very big call actually from JF Thorman and Andretti Green Racing back then, that they will give me the option of being an Indy Lights and an IndyCar test driver. And that was what sold it. I'm like, it's Andretti Green Racing. You don't say no to Michael Andretti. I came in winter of 2008, right after the championship of Formula 3. It was a bad winter, I remember, here in Indy. And I just fell in love with the whole dynamic of the team. Of course, jumping right on into IndyCar as 18-year-old, as a test driver for Danica Patrick and Hideki Muto, and then jumping into the Indy Lights Championship, winning the Rookie of the Year, and placing second that first year. That was a huge accomplishment that I never wanted to go back to Europe. I loved oval racing. I loved the Indy 500, and the Freedom 100 for me that year was so magic that I never left.
It fascinates me that drivers like yourself, I'm sure before you got to America, I'm guessing this, but you never ran an oval.
Oh no. The closest I was, and it was not even the oval, it was in Lausitz in Germany, Lausitz Ring, which is a triangle oval. And we did a few testing with DTM and and with Formula 3 in that place. But no, it's very different. It's not even poke on the triangle. I can tell you that.
What was it like when you first got into a car that would go fast? Like the Indy Lights are pretty quick cars. They're faster now, but they were fast at that time. And you look in your mirror and there's somebody right there. And the speed you're traveling over 190 miles an hour, close to 200 miles an hour at times. Did it take some getting used to when you go turn left and there's somebody right there?
I feel it took some time to get used to, for sure. More the G-forces. I think it's so weird. First, having the helmet lift. I never got helmet lift in any other series. And out of the blue, I have this helmet trying to murder me. And that's when I swapped to Bell Racing, because Bell Racing never had those issues. So I thank Bell Racing for their amazing support throughout these years. And then from then, it was just understanding the dynamic of those G's in the middle of the corner. I remember my first test was in Kansas Speedway, and that was pretty rough. I mean, I was kind of like, we were very quick, but every time I come out of the car, I needed to sit down for a good 10 minutes because I felt like my world was still like going around. And then we started testing with J.R. Hildebrand, was my teammate in Indy Lights in my first year. And he was a veteran when it was my first year. So he really helped me a lot to kind of like, get used to, being close to each other, use each other for draft, bump drafting. So all of those new concepts that you never heard in Europe. I mean, in Europe, you're all by yourself. I mean, there's no teammates really. You just go and if anything is, you're against everybody else but your teammate first. Here you come to America and it's the opposite. Your teammates are everything and you help each other and push yourself to both of you or all the teammates to be better. So it's a lot of changes that very quickly had to happen in my mind.
You, as I said, you're a veteran of the 500. If I understood correctly, you were working on a program to come back this year and run some events. But of course, Mother Nature and her virus had other plans for you. But you are still working on the potential of getting back to IndyCar?
Always. I think I just turned 30. I feel like I have so many more years to give. And I went a little bit to sports cars racing, loved it. Together with Solik Racing, winning the 24 Hours of Daytona in 2019. That was huge. Of course, going to being a reserve driver and test driver for them in Europe at the WEC Series. That was super cool. But my heart has always been in IndyCar, and I want to come back. I think I never really got the chance to really push the envelope and get that full season with the cool testing and everything that we showed that we could. Everything was one-offs, or everything was part-time seasons. And as blessed as I was to work with the best teams out there, like Ganassi, like KV Racing Technology, like even like Dragon Penske, that I just, we never were able to connect everything to make it solid. So yeah, it's something that I think you never stop working towards IndyCar, and everything else is kind of like a plan B, plan C, plan D. But we had something very solid coming this year together with Gary Peterson, AFS Racing, and the Colombian Sports Ministry. But we were in St. Petersburg, March 16th, pushing through everything, and then, hey there, here's Corona. Had a completely different idea, and we put a huge halt to the program, which was the best thing we could have done, because could have burned a lot of bridges, a lot of sponsors, a lot of possibilities for my future. And at the end, we just decided, let's take a step back, let's take a breather, which is hard for me, since I'm 70 years old. I don't know one single weekend that I'm not being on a racetrack or doing something racing related. So this year has been the first sabbatical I've ever taken since I'm 7, basically. And it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. I need to be on top of machine, but I've been pushing on other ends, on engineering, on driver coaching, which has been really, really, really fun to do. Getting to pick some younger brains and seeing a little bit of the future of our series. It's been pretty fun.
I know you're working with Gabby Chavez and one or two others on some projects. What is it that I don't know about that, which is everything?
So Gabby Chavez and Juan Piedrahita, amazing brothers of mine, I would say, also Colombian. They started this cool entrepreneurship called Mobile Pit Stop last year. And it's a service that goes to you to change oil, change your filter, change your tires, do everything that you have to do on a normal, like 10,000 mile basis. But instead of you having to go to somebody to do it, we do it for you at your house. I joined them this year, actually. As soon as it was around April that I knew like everything was slowing down, we joined forces and we start pushing to grow this amazing company, which as of right now, 3 vans are already active. We have a huge van that we are pushing our envelope on changing tires with a huge tire changer inside. So we're very proud of where this is going. And yes, we're pushing together with Mobile Pit Stop, Gaby Chavez, Juan Piedrahita, Sebastian Perez, a lot of Colombian names, as you can tell.
Yeah.
If you guys are interested, you can check it out on our Instagram page or Twitter page as Mobile Pit Stop Van, or you can go and schedule your next appointment on mobilepitstopvan.com, and you can see all the different services that we can provide for you. Even better for this time that nobody wants to leave home, we come to you.
You have been connected with Gary Peterson, who is a race nut of his own admission. Has got all kinds of race cars. He raced for a long time, raced in the 500. He's got a hugely successful business, which Corona didn't take into account, and I'm sure it's hurt him a little bit. But you're still tied with Gary. I know you've been with him since almost you got here. Seems to me.
Yes. No, we're continually. They're family to me. In the Peterson family, Tammy Peterson, his wife Gary, and the whole AFS Inc. They just became family to me. They put me under their wing when I arrived in 2008, and we continue working. Even if I was not sponsored by them, because I was in Dragon with Jay Penske, or if I was with some other team, we were always very, very close, and we were always building different programs together, even on the business-to-business aspect outside of racing with automatic fire sprinklers, which is what AFS stands for. And they build the whole fire protection systems for buildings, and they do the whole engineering on the West Coast. So yeah, we continue to be incredibly close. This year it's been, of course, very different. Like I was together with Tammy and her family from Ohio about 3 months ago, which was pretty fun to see them and stuff. But it's been a rough year to say the least. Construction in general was pretty rough in the Bay Area, and with all the new regulations, a lot of changes happened.
Well, Gary, for those of you who don't know Gary at AFS, he was one of the biggest fire safety companies in California for sure. And he even talked about coming to Indianapolis, Indiana area, and setting up. And I think he'd be a bonanza here. But things are what they are, and you got to back up and take note and move cautiously. And I'm sure Gary is very well aware of that and knows how to do it. Yeah. And by the way, next time you talk to Tammy, tell her I said hello. I miss seeing her. Gary, Gary's all right. Tammy was nice. I always enjoyed her. We always had a good time. Give her my regards. Are your sponsors that you have need fans in the stands to really get their full dollar's worth, or is it a networking thing that they can network in the paddock area?
It's more the networking aspect. I feel that it's a different era of motorsports. I feel that I give you 1 penny, you give me 2 pennies back on marketing. It's no longer the equation that we used to use for so many years. Nowadays, it's more, okay, I give you X amount and you connect me with these companies and you return my investment that way. But that being said, not being able to take my sponsors or these VIPs that you want to do business with to the racetrack, that is hurting my sponsors, because even though we don't have fans, not only we cannot have fans, but we cannot have those VIPs on track either. So you cannot give them the VIP treatment, you cannot activate these companies, and that is what is hurting me the most. And I know a lot of the racers around me are suffering the same way. So that being said, fans will always make things magic. That's actually what we racers do it for. That's that feeling of somebody rooting for you, giving that amazing energy from the outside, and making you give that little extra for the show. That is something that it's so weird not being able to have. And I definitely hope that will go back to normality, whatever new normality we're calling.
Well, I was down in St. Pete, and we were heading for the racetrack, and I got a phone call, don't bother, because they're shut it down. I went, you've got to be kidding. So fortunately, I have a friend that I've grown up with. I've known him for 75 of my number of years on Earth. So we suffered and had a few soda pops every so often and went out to eat and didn't get to see the race. And I decided I wasn't going to come down in October, which I didn't do. And I haven't booked a flight for March yet either. So I'm hoping that it's, for you guys, that I'd like to see you. And I'm sure you got a lot of fans who would like to see you back on the racetrack.
Well, I've been receiving some good pushes from that end, and I really appreciate everybody that continues to push me to get me out there, in one way or another. Sports cars continue to be very interesting, and there are some opportunities there. I saw right now my biggest item is Colombia. It's suffering a lot for Corona. We do not have the very smart system as you guys have here, and unfortunately, that is really hurting, sporting budgets, and for the right reasons. I completely support that type of decisions on putting those budgets to work where they're needed, and that is something that will take a big effect on decisions taking from now on, until we see a little bit of benefit from hopefully the vaccines and such as that. But I do think that next year is going to be very interesting on the whole motorsport scenery, because everybody has to adapt. And it's not only us race car drivers, but the teams are adapting and the manufacturers are having to adapt. And we're going to see in the next few months a lot of this adaptation, and we just got to continue going with the flow, I guess.
Well, one thing I've heard that's good news for Dallara as far as IndyCar is concerned is some new drivers joining and some new, potentially 1 or 2 new teams, which means, as far as I know, there's not a whole lot of cars to buy, so they're going to have to buy new ones, which Dallara will go, yes. and I suspect that, are you looking to start your own team, or are you looking to go run with another team and bring your car and your people with it and your money?
I feel it's no point in starting from scratch. Having the opportunity and the possibility of alliances, as we've kept every single bridge open and door open and all the amazing teams we worked in the past, I feel that technical alliances, it's always a smart and efficient way to do it. It's just a matter of, as you say, how can we make sense of it? It's not going racing just for racing, but being competitive, just looking to actually grow the program, looking for 2022, 2023, where we're going to be. just being there, I mean, we've been there, done that. I mean, we've raced 7 times Indy 500, and we're proud of it. And we have done a lot of cool alliances in the past. A couple of years ago, we sold all the AFS equipment to Schmidt Peterson. You know, if you know that, we sold both IndyCar, all the fuel rig, pit stands, pit equipment, and transporter to Schmidt Peterson, now McLaren. And of course, like, it was a great move. Now it's a time to get back some equipment. And as you say, there's no equipment. We're like, okay, we might have shot our own foot here, but there's so many cars out there that are just not being used. It's a matter also on looking for the good car. That's another question, because post Hinchcliffe's accident, a lot of those cars that got fixed are like 25 to 30 pounds heavier just on the amount of glue that they had to put. The newer ones already have those safety additions with not the same amount of glue. So those are the ones that you want to check for. So yeah, there's a lot of strategy based on what type of equipment you can get out there.
Well, I have to confess, I've been a fan of yours, not only from the racing standpoint, but just the kind of guy you are, very friendly, very outgoing, very fan-friendly, which I think is what IndyCar has over almost any other motorsports in the world, where the drivers are available. And if you're not putting your head on and ready to climb in the car, you'll stop for a pose for a picture, sign an autograph, or talk to a fan. And I think that's huge for the series, and it's something that people still remember about you, because I hear your name pop up every once in a while. But stupid me, I've been living here for almost 30 years, and I didn't realize you still live here in town. I haven't seen you anywhere. I just didn't know you lived here.
Yes, I've been here for almost 11 years. 11 years. I love it. I love it here. Lived all over the place. I started living in Zionsville. That was my first little apartment that I got when I was with Andretti. And I moved to Keystone on the crossing close to the mall. And bought my first house, Geist. And I just moved recently to Carmel. And I'm loving here. Carmel, it's been 11 years and I never realized how beautiful Carmel is. And I'm in love of this area. And I'm not looking to move anytime soon. I can tell you that. I did go back and forth between California for a while. I had a place there, but I just kept coming back to Indy. So it's my family, friends, and everybody's here.
The only thing I can tell you about Carmel, be careful of those roundabout things. There's a lot of accidents on those things, I hear.
Those are the most fun, man. I can tell you.
For you, they are. Yeah, sure. Well, listen, I look forward to seeing you come back. And as you mentioned, we've done this several times in the past, but you were sitting across the table from me. Now you're across town.
That's true.
But we wish
times change.
Well, unfortunately, yes. And I'm not so sure how quick Autosport will go back to live, anywhere at the moment. It doesn't look that way, but who knows? Never can tell.
Your office doesn't look too bad.
No, that's a nice car you got behind you, and we're in a race shop. This is a Rookie of the Year car right here from 1978.
There you go.
Available. You got to take a ride. You need to take a ride down. Oh, you've been here, haven't you? You and Gary were down here.
Yes, we were there a few times. So we love it. We love it there.
Nice. Well, you're in the area. Stop by. I wish to see you, or hope to see you next year in an Indy car like the one that's behind you. That's the AFS car, I believe. It's back there behind you.
Yeah, that's it.
We look forward to having you back. In the meantime, good luck with everything you're doing and your mobile pit stop deal. I hope that takes off for you.
Thank you.
And I'm sure you're an asset to that. And as a driver coach, I would think you would be somebody sought after, because you do have the talent, you do understand the cars, you do understand the engineering of it and what makes it go. I think that's a good spot for you until you get yourself in a car and go.
Thank you, Don. Much appreciated. I sure hope so. Pushing very hard to make that a reality. There's some good things going along. And as I say, it's all about adapting. And I think that's got plenty of years in me to get back at it and make something out of it. So you you shall see me in a race car soon, hopefully.
I
So
hope
thank
so.
you, Dan.
And you know, the interesting thing, if you're 35, 40 years old and you're in other professional basketball, football, baseball, you're almost, if not at the end of your career. Where at that age, as a race car driver, if your eyes are good, your reactions are good, you can drive into your 45, and Foyt did it at 50. And so
That's
did
true.
Dick Simon. So you're just getting started. You got another 20 years if you can get going.
Yeah, we just need to stop getting these youngsters kicking our butt so much. Even like on the e-racing sites, I mean, it's crazy how these 14-year-old kids jump in and really show us the ways. But it's something that gets us even more hyped to continue perfectioning our craft.
Well, we look forward to seeing you back again, and hopefully in the future, I give you a call. You'll come back and talk to me again.
Anytime, Don. It's always been an honor, always a pleasure.
Thank you. Look forward to it. Good luck to you in 2021. Look for you at a racetrack somewhere.
To you as well, Don.
Okay. My guest has been Sebastian Saavedra, a multi-time Indy 500 veteran, a race winner, just a super good guy. We will be back again. We've got some other guests lined up in the coming days, but of course we do shut down at Christmas time, but this, I don't know if we're leaving, so we may go another week or two before we shut down, but we have some other guests, so hopefully you'll watch us then. Until the next time, it's Don Kay saying thanks for watching. Until the next time, see ya.